Welcome back to Plague of Shadows. Last time we defeated King Knight, grabbed his essence, and now we're going to be heading to Spectre Knight stage, the Lich Yard. Something that I didn't mention that's also a cool but very minor touch is the fact that they changed the little bits of, I guess, dialogue is what you could call them, before you start a stage. Like for Shovel Knight, when you start a stage, it says in the center of the screen stuff like, for chivalry and justice and spades, and steel thy shovel. Wait, actually, I think that might have been just Black Knight saying that. But, for Plague Knight here, it changes up a bit. Instead of saying those things, he says, like, let's get experimental, and for science. So, that's pretty cool. Also, in this stage specifically, the little shrubs that you could bounce off of as Shovel Knight, pretty useless, so if you destroy them with Plague Knight's bombs, they instead become, I think, 5 gold pieces. It's like, they're money now, so blow them up if you want money. And I really want that potion. As for the bio on Spectre Knight, in life, Spectre Knight was a cruel and cunning warrior, and although his blood is now icy cold, he is no less formidable as a phantasm. The most begrudgingly loyal knight of the order, Spectre Knight follows the Enchantress only because she is capable of magically extending his undeath. Clutching a grim scythe in his shriveled claws, Spectre Knight commands his weapon with uncommon cleverness, and his next target is Shovel Knight. Kinda doesn't work because we're playing as Plague Knight now, but whatever. Pros: Tattered Crimson Cloak, Supernatural Scythe, and Immortality. Cons: overly sentimental, and tries too hard to act cool. I don't know, man. I think Spectre Knight is pretty cool. Maybe it's just because I like edgy stuff sometimes. I mean, I like Plague of Shadows more than I like Shovel Knight's campaign, and Plague of Shadows is a bit more edgy. He's more villainous. You can blow up your minions. That's pretty edgy. Well, actually, not really. But, yeah, that was the bio. As you can see up there in the corner, there is a little cipher coin stuck in a wall next to that ladder. That's usually going to be your tell for a secret Plague Knight specific area. Of course, you collect the cipher coin pretty much as you get into that area, but, this stuff, it's all unique to Plague Knight. At least this section here. And that means getting extra cipher coins and fighting extra enemies, stuff like that. It's mainly the reason why I'm probably going to be sticking to one night per video. Like one stage, I guess. Because Plague Knight's campaign extends the levels quite a bit, and if I'm going for 100% in them, I have to do a bit more than I did as Shovel Knight. So, that's the reason why that's like that. Also, in these sections, you're always going... Well, that's actually not true. There's one case where it isn't true, but usually you'll find a relic. And, of course, the relic is pretty useless. Usually where Chester was is where the relic was originally in Shovel Knight's campaign. I don't know why it took me so long to say that. But essentially go back to where Shovel Knight found his relic, and you'll be trading the relic you just found for the Arcana. Whichever one is available for, well, whichever one Chester has available, that is. And I wanted to talk about the music notes last time, but I kind of forgot that I was going to. I said music notes again, didn't I? Music sheets, damn it. The sheets. Rather than it being like 40-something sheets that you have to find, and each of the 40-something sheets has its own song, at certain thresholds while playing as Plague Knight, Percy will take a sheet and toss it into Oolong. Not all your sheets are going to be ones that give you music. I think it's only like 15 or 16 of them that actually have songs for you. So, you can't listen to the entire soundtrack in Plague Knight's campaign. You're going to have to go to Shovel Knights if you want most of it. But the other 13 that are, I think, specific to Plague Knight are going to be found by collecting a bunch of the music sheets. And after getting, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 or so, then you'll actually get music for Oolong to play. The reason I kind of laughed is because the big burst, or the big boom rather, explodes things that are above, below, and to the sides of it. And just there was a big piece right there, one of the big rubies that gives you 50. I unlocked that area by using a big boom before I could even access it, and I ended up losing out on the 50. It's not much, but, you know, it's still money, and I still want it. Something about the float burst, kind of similar to the ornamental plate, I think it was called, in Shovel Knight's campaign. You can use it to kind of track yourself when you're in the dark sections. As you're floating around, you're going to leave behind trails of whatever that stuff is, sparkly stuff. And by doing so, you're able to see yourself a bit better, at least see where you just were. And there's a thing to use the bait bomb here. It's another extra health potion, hooray. You don't really find fish as often here. Like Shovel Knight, it was, all of them are fish, except for the one Troupple one. And for Plague Knight, it's like, all of them are potions, except for the one that's actually one of the golden fish that you can use for money. Kind of weird, but whatever. I guess they thought that since this campaign was supposed to be harder, and Plague Knight is a bit more frail, that you'd want a lot more potions, and I can see that. But, considering my late epic skills with Plague Knight, I'm not really needing a bunch of potions. I'd rather have the money. Speaking of having the money, the same kind of method applies here. When you jump to the next platform, once you grab the money, that's when you're safe to jump to the next one. And that's how you get in and out of this area pretty quickly. At least that's how I do it. I explained a bit more of it in Shovel Knight's campaign, so I don't feel the need to explain all of it again. And that was a very dangerous Cypher coin to grab. Again, 30 in this stage. I'm probably going to stop saying that soon, because it's very self-explanatory that there's going to be 30 in all the Order of No Quarter stages. Right here, using bursts is very dangerous, because there's all these spikes at the ceiling, so if you want to cancel out of using your burst, just throw out whatever Arcana you got. It'll make it so that you're not bursting anymore, and if you let go of the square button, you'll be fine. You won't be able to hit those spikes above. So, there's a case where canceling the burst is actually a very good idea. It's not as implemented as a Shovel Knight's canceling his shovel drop, but still pretty useful in certain cases, just not in very many. Another thing about bursting is that it actually makes you go faster than on the ground. It's like, if you take the amount of time it takes for Plague Knight to walk forward versus the amount of time it takes for you to use a burst to go that same distance, the burst makes you go by faster. So that's pretty cool. I kind of screw up this bit because I end up making the skull go into that underneath area and not being able to actually get inside the area where I make actual progress. I locked myself out, so just exit and re-enter the screen and you'll be able to be relatively in the same spot as before. The first frog won't drop any money, but it's not that important. And now we head down into the area where we can actually grab the next Arcana. This is where we got the Phase Locket before, but instead we're getting something that is actually not very related to the Phase Locket. There is an item that's pretty close to it later, but this one is very, very different. This is the Leech Liquid. What it does is you drink it, and you see this little aura around Plague Knight. If you hit enemies while that aura is up, then you'll regain health. I think it's 1 health per, like, 1 damage. So half a dot every time you hit, essentially. Pretty useful in boss fights and such. Or if you just need to get some health and there's some minor enemies nearby. I don't use it all that much, but one of the things about it is that if you start drinking the leech liquid, because it does have a bit where you drink it for a bit and then you actually start getting the effects of it. If you start drinking it and then get hit in the animation of drinking it, you'll stop. It'll fly out of your hands and you won't get the leech ability added to you, so you kind of just wasted some time and some power by using it. And I think I don't quite recall if it takes as much power as the big bomb, or big boom rather, and the what's it called? The bait bomb. There we go. Bait bomb and big boom. Kind of get those names mixed up. I don't recall if it takes the same amount of power is what I'm trying to say. It might take a bit more. Not all of them are just going to take 1 bar. And that fish is a douche. That is messed up. It's the one goldfish in this level to actually grab for money, and it gets stuck on that first wall and you can't grab it. Very, very lame. Not very necessary though. I don't find myself spending a ton of money in Plague Knight's campaign. What you might be spending money on if you die a lot is extra potions that you can buy from the Magicist. For I think 100 per potion. Excuse me. For 100 per potion, she can fill up your inventory of them. So if you have like 1,000 gold or so, you can scarf down a bunch of them and then spend your money on some of them. Scarf down one more, spend your money again, and you're pretty much full on potions. But I don't feel like spending my money on them, and I'm not gonna die, so my health won't go away. So I'm pretty good. At least I think I am. I haven't recorded all of this yet. Maybe I will die eventually, but I don't intend on it. And these potions fly pretty dang high to get back to you. Like, geez, that was very, very homing. Even though it's very useless. They do disappear after a while, so if you do want to grab them, make sure that you do so pretty quickly. However, you can extend the amount of time that they stay in existence, I guess. If you go near one and you don't have the inventory for it, it'll start shaking a bit. And while it's shaking, it won't disappear, so you can just kind of stand near it and let it stay there for an infinite amount of time if you want to, but there's not really any reason to do that, so I don't. Anyway, that's the end of the level. That was the end of the level, jeez. This is the last checkpoint here, and we're going to face off with Spectre Knight for another very cool boss fight. Pretty interesting, this exchange of dialogue, because Plague Knight usually has some witty repartee for the enemies, but Spectre Knight is actually able to silence him, kind of hitting a bit home, I guess, with what he's saying. Basically said that Plague Knight is a coward because he knows what Plague Knight wants, and he's saying that his way of getting what he wants is pretty cowardly. At least, that's what I can infer, and after knowing exactly what it is that Plague Knight desires, it is pretty easy to understand what Spectre Knight is talking about here. Same abilities as before, can darken the room, can make his little skeletons appear. If you drink the leech liquid, you can drain some health from the skeletons, but it's only like 3 bits of health, so it's not all that useful. And with the big bombs being able to hit above you, you don't need to bomb burst to get above him to throw your bombs down, so a very easy boss fight overall, in my opinion. I didn't get all the way to my white health, so that's pretty good. And of course, if I needed to, I could have scarfed down some more potions to regain my health. I kind of want to hammer that point into your head. Potions don't just increase your health, they also help you regain it. So if you're ever in a pinch, then drink some potions and you'll be feeling fine. At least you should be feeling fine. I don't know, you might get some cavities. Don't drink too much potion, kiddies. Mona here is apparently having a little dance by herself. I am watching the entire dance. Luckily, I'm gonna speed it up for you. But just know that if you watch her dance for, I think, 2 straight minutes is how long it takes for it to loop, then you'll be able to get an extra feat. And it's a bit of a funny feat, in my opinion, because of the dialogue that comes a bit after it. Now we just kind of have to wait until Mona's finished with her whole dancing thing. And there it is. Feat accomplished. Creep. Just keep pressing down and you'll be able to get Plague Knight to the bottom level. And they have a little bit of dialogue with each other. And Plague Knight says that he's not some creep, even though we clearly just got called one. And Plague Knight apparently has 2 left feet, so he can't really dance with her, even though he might kind of want to. I don't know. Maybe. Now that we have all these cipher coins, we can also get another upgrade, or research thing, rather. Also, she gave us a health potion there. What that does is that it increases your maximum health. As in, the amount that's actually has a white border around it rather than a green border. So that's pretty cool. There aren't as many as with Shovel Knight. You're still going to have to rely on some of those extra green dots. And there seems to be some sort of glitch in this game. At least I think it must be a glitch. Also, depending on the bomb you feed Oolong's head, he'll spit out different fire, I guess. I guess I could talk about this because I'm not exactly going to another level. I'm going to be doing one of those enemy encounter things. But as you can see right now, my health, it's 5 dots surrounded by white and 5 dots surrounded by green. I kind of faded there because I kind of went on a bit without going to this extra treasure section. I didn't do any levels or anything like that. I just looked at the rest of the map for a bit and kind of forgot that that appeared there. So nothing was lost or anything like that. Just whatever. You can see my health right now. This is what I'm talking about. I had clearly 5 white dots and 5 green dots on the world map. Now I have 4 white dots and 6 green dots. I'm not sure if that's... Well, it probably really is a glitch. But I'm not sure if there's anyone talking about it because they haven't fixed it yet. But it's pretty detrimental. You just got a health potion. Why can't it stay, you know? Why is it that my health... Essentially, my max health decreased after just getting a max health increase. Whatever. It's not that detrimental. Next time, we're going to be heading to the next set of stages.